Hey everybody. So man, yesterday was a doozy, and I swear that little bug has gotten me many times before. I don't think it's ever gotten me to such. I don't know though. I think I've worked at places where I've done that exact bug, and it's taken me like everybody on the team was working on it. I think this place, if I remember correctly, we literally had 24 developers across three teams, and all 24 people were working on it. And I was the one who figured it out, but it uh, took me a couple of days. And it's just because, well, here's the bug. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, and I do not blame you. Basically, what I had before was this map form filled and then these check boxes, and it was working. It was working just fine. It was perfect. But then when I brought in this mat form filled module, it started breaking. And the reason I brought the mat form filled module and the mat select module in because I wanted to put a drop down. I wanted the select drop down. I wanted this thing, and so I needed it, and everything just started breaking, and it took me like forever to figure it out. It took me like an hour to figure it out. Um, and so this is I've been thinking all day about just I have so much stuff to talk about, but this is a funny bug because this is the kind of bug that um, like this has got to be a bug. And no, I am not criticizing the Angular material team. The Angular material is awesome. I mean, there's just no question about that. But Mat checkbox should be able to work inside of a map form field. I mean, let's just be let's just be honest here. But like, oh man, what did I just do? The Man, I'm just in crazy mode. Going down the rails on a crazy train. All right. Oh yeah, that's because I had. Okay, yeah, I do need to do it that way. Um, like this should work, right? Like for mat checkboxes should support mat forms. I'm sure there's something just weird and off about it, and one day it will. Okay, it just will. And the thing is when it does, and if you work at an organization and they properly do their upgrades, and it works, then new people come in. The people who coded this to be inside of a div instead of a map form field are just going to look like extremely unprofessional. And that is probably one of the biggest like things that's difficult as a developer to deal with is that as things move forward, things change, they get better, bugs are fixed, workarounds don't need to be done anymore, and then workarounds just look weird as heck once they're done. So that's number one. While I was doing that, I figured out that there was a problem with the animation. And I was like, okay, we need to fix this now. And the reason we need to fix it now is because it was very likely broken as part of this splitting thing that we just did. And it'll never like it. This is definitely tech debt with interest, a very high percentage interest rate. Because if it was in fact something we just broke, I'll never understand that code better than I do right now. Like I just coded it, so it'll be the easiest to fix right now. But we do not know that, and it's pretty easy to check to see. And the way we check to see that is commit this code. So that was video 236, and I think everything is fine. There's nothing I don't want in this code. Now, like if I was like working, if I was doing a professional job, I would either stash this code or I would commit it and then not push it and then uh, revert out of it or undo the commit. Um, but since I am not working, this is not part of a professional job, I'm just going to, so that was, I'm just going to commit it. Video 236, 36, implements, that's got to be, let's see, sets up, code adds the ability to set fog, scene fog attribute. Okay, I'm not really going to push it, so I mean I still have the option, but let's see what happens if I go and I bring back the main branch and see if it's broken or not. Let's see. Animated. Ooh, so it did get broken as part of the scene. So that is definitely the next thing to do, is try to figure out, okay, why? Because now let's just make sure that what I think is supposed to happen is when we look here, and yeah, we see that this number goes from 1 to 0, and that's kind of a bummer. So now if I go back to our fog, this will rebuild itself. We go to the scene and go animated, and now it's not working. And we are not seeing any errors in the console log. Now, I kind of dread working on this code, and the reason I do is because in the animation manager, all that code is extraordinarily like I set it up to be very generic, so that everything's handled in a very generic way. Let's see. So animation manager component. Okay, so yeah, then if I remember correctly, yeah, we have animation items, and let's come in here. Scene is in here twice. So we say if the type is scene, then update scene. So let's just see console.log update scene. Man, my parrot is fresh today. Her name is Rhett, and she enjoys being heard. She does get a little lonely, but she is pretty cool. So we aren't even getting into that. So let's see. Let's see if value change gets called. Oh, okay. So this probably would only get called if in the animation, if we were to go in here and we change this value. Let's see what we get in our console log. Yeah, okay, so we did get update scene, which that's pretty useful, I think. So we could just put a debug statement there, make a change. And so we have our ThreeJS service, and we're saying, hey, go ahead and update the scene for us. Let's go in there. Let's see. Okay, so we're in a, so we say, hey, showtime service. So that's easy to read. Take this scene item, and let's see, is red. Yeah, and we change the end value of it. So I think that's probably good. I would imagine the problem isn't there, but I guess we should just go ahead and step into it. Okay, so basically we update the scene item. But we create a whole new scene item, which then, if we look at the red color, has the new one. Oh, it does not have the new 157. Let's see. Red color 103. Oh, okay. 103 was the new number. Okay, so that was a bit of a psych. Okay, so let's step in there. So we're going to go in our ThreeJS service, which really should be named manager. And then we're going to go into this setup scene service. And then, okay, so I think we did validate that it does. Let's go ahead and expand that. We did validate that it does do that. So then we go to the show type and we go to scene signal and we hit the send. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so basically we announced to the world that we're changing it, which is fine. And then let's see if this, and this is animated, so that's good. And then we go and we get our showtime scene. And we get our ThreeJS scene. So we go into our animation pairs. So let's sit. Okay, so this is going to get us our this is going to get us our showtime scene, which we just updated down here. So let's just go ahead and leave that one. And now we're going to get our ThreeJS scene, and then I don't see where we ever updated the scene though. Oh, setup scene was right there. So that is where all the action should have happened. And it didn't, apparently. So let's go ahead and change it again. Hit play. And then I want to go into setup, the ThreeJS scene service setup scene, and see what's happening in there. Now, setup scene, if I remember correctly, okay, I'm looking at the wrong one. Let's get out of there and go back in. Oh yeah, I went into this method over here, Showtime scene service. Let's go back in. Scene background. Oh, let's go ahead and expand this. See, all this ever does is do the start value. So that's weird because, well, and that really is all that does. Basically, there's because there's a callback, a callback in the three service. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. There's a rendering callback, update render. Set up render, animation callback. So this is constantly happening, right? So we'll just go ahead and, so we stop there and then step through this thing. Oh, for some reason, current time, and we're saying reset the clock. Maybe for some reason. So it's looping. The current loop time is 9.51. So it should never have gotten anywhere near 9.51. So that is weird. So it looks like we're having a problem here. It looks like we're just like, for some reason, the time. Well, okay, so this was supposed to reset the clock. And I'm guessing it doesn't, because I bet you if we hit this. Oh. Okay, so now that was wild that it was all the way up to 9. Okay, yeah, so it seems to be resetting properly. Okay, so that was just a false. That was a red herring. All right, so let's hit run. Okay, so we are running, and now we go into our camera service. And then 3 service get scenes. Okay, so we should end up over here. Okay. Now get scene for ID. Scene, and what is the ID? 7. That makes sense. So we're hoping to get the scene item. Oh, and scene item is undefined. So I'm guessing this is the problem here. So let's just hit run. Get scene item. Scene, and what is ID? Yeah, so I'm curious what this scene ID is. 7. Okay, so it's probably inside this get scene item for ID method. Okay, so this is the showtime service. Get. Okay, so now let's just go in there. And then let's look at our scene items. Okay, so the ID is still sitting at -1. So when we update the scene to begin with, we never, at the very, very beginning, when we first start this thing, we don't ever update the scene. So let's just scene ID. So that makes sense to me. I mean, it doesn't completely make sense to me, but like, it makes sense that this code broke it, because whatever code, wait, I thought update scenes. So that should have been called initially. Let's see. Okay, so this problem seems to be in the ThreeJS manager, or the ThreeJS service, which should eventually be called manager service. And let's see. Wow, there's a ton of. Okay, so we get this setup scene, and okay. Okay, so yeah, I think that the problem here is that right here, we should have updated the scene ID, which is, yeah, that was something that we were doing when they were both the same, and we would do the setup scene, we'd set up the scene ID. So what we want to do is we want to say const scene item, which is a scene interface, and that is equal to this dot what is it, showtime scene service dot get scene. And this is going to return the scene. And then to set up scene, return a scene item, go to definition. Yeah, so that's going to, oh, that returns the ID. Okay, so we get the ID back. So basically what we want to do is we want to say scene item dot ID. And I don't know if this is the best way to do this, is equal to ID. And then we want to update. So this dot showtime dot update scene. And then scene item. I believe that will update the scene item. Stop it, debugger. Stop. I said stop. I just got rid of my debug statement. Yep, and now it's working. So yeah, that was something that like was in both inside this when we had the scene service, and basically whenever you would update the scene, when you would set up the scene, it would go an ID, and within that set up the scene, it would set the ID to it would set the scene items ID, but then they weren't together, so that means that needs to get handled here. I really can't think of a better way to do it than this right now. Showtime scene service scene item. I think that makes the most sense. So I think I'm gonna go with this. I will definitely, before I commit this, think on it tonight. This would have been much more difficult had I waited. Had I said, okay, now I'm gonna finish adding fog, and then I'm going to worry about, like, the farther I got away from this, because I bet you I even said when I was coding this thing, when I was splitting it out, oh, I need to make sure I update the ID. I think I have a vague memory of doing that, and then I didn't do it. So it was like it kind of popped out at me. Oh crap! The scene ID isn't updated. I think that this literally, like, if I had waited 3 days to do this, it would have taken 10 times longer. So how long is this video? 23 minutes. Yeah, that's not the worst, especially now that I've set a new low level of the worst longest video being an hour and 2 minutes. That this ain't too bad. So anyways, tomorrow I will likely accept this solution and commit it, and then we'll continue down the fog path. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.